your host, Mimosa,
and co-host Kareem.
Welcome to Sometimes We're Boujee and Sometimes We Hood, to healing, navigating grief. It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembrance. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to Sometimes We're Boujee, Sometimes We're Hood, a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembrance. I'm your host, Auntie Mimosa, and of course, Cousin Kareem could not be here with us today. He's out having fun on Maui somewhere. So, whether you're in the depths of grief, slowly learning to live with loss, or supporting someone on their journey, this space is for you. Grief is deeply personal. There's no timeline, no rule book, no right or wrong way to navigate it. But through shared experience, honest conversation, and moments of reflection, we can find comfort, understanding, and hope. In today's episode, we talk about the silent, often invisible weight of loss and the strength it takes to carry it. We're diving into a conversation that's raw, real, and rarely talked about in the open, and that's grief and addiction. Whether you've lost someone to addiction, are in recovery yourself while grieving, or someone who knows or have loved ones who struggle, this episode is for you. Grief alone is hard enough. Addiction alone is hard enough. But when they coexist together, it feels unbearable. But you're not alone. Let's start by unpacking the layers. And today I have a special co host with me today, and that's Cousin Ricky. Welcome in.
Hi, everybody.
So, Cousin Ricky, we know grief, there's several layers to grief, and there's different types of grief, right?
Right.
And I asked you on today, and this is part three of this, and hope maybe the last, may not be the last one. But grief, understanding grief and addiction. So, do you know, or did you know, there were like three types of grief?
I did not.
And the average, and the most people don't know either, unless you're like a grief counselor or you're or familiar with it. So to get started, we're going to talk about the three different types of grief. Okay, there's anticipatory grief, and that is the grief that occurs before a loss actually happens. So as far as the definition goes, it says that it's emotional pain or mourning the experience in advance of expected loss, right? So that's grieving a person while they are living, and you and I both have experience with that.
My goodness.
We both.
Yes, I got an A+.
Right. So we both have experience with that. And I know I experienced it with my mom. And I'm sure you have two,
Three.
three. That's right.
Uncle Butch. Yeah.
Your sister, your
My,
uncle.
my grandma and my uncle.
Right. No, four. And you
Four.
probably didn't think about it. Your mom.
Well, you know what? I'm okay. I can't really talk about my mother because me and my mother have a weird relationship
Mm-hmm.
because she is a heroin addict of over 45 years,
Okay.
and I didn't like her.
Right.
And then my grandmother's
Mm-hmm.
started, who saved us from her,
Mm-hmm.
um, caught cancer and hid it from us.
Mm-hmm.
But my sister was dying from cancer, breast
Mm-hmm.
cancer, both breast cancer at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you talking about a cluster, it's
Yes.
like, oh my gosh. So I got to be nice to this lady I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
take care of this woman I love, and
Mm-hmm.
take care of this other woman I love.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't able to deal with any of my feelings at that time.
Right. Right.
Right. Right.
So this is why you're a perfect guest. Yes,
Yeah.
because you went through this like one, I mean, astronomically, right?
Yep.
It
And
was
well,
huge.
90 days with my grandmother and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then my uncle was a political prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
And so that grieving somebody when you're already now, that was major. Because I grieved my sister for 5 years because she had cancer for 5 years. So we
Okay.
she was gonna die,
Right.
but we just didn't know when. Because once they give you stage 4 cancer, they give you a time limit, which I think is horrible. Because once you tell somebody they're gonna die, how can you unhear that?
Right. Right. Right.
So you hear the people saying, "No, God has the final say. No, be positive. No, don't think that." But then you go to the doctor's office and they say, "Well, statistically, you only last 5 years, and my sister lasted 6."
Right. So, and I think that part of it is difficult because, as I always state, when it comes to doctors, it is a practice of medicine because they don't know everything and everybody is different. However, when you give an individual a time frame on their life, that messes with their psyche.
It's crazy. You can't. I mean, I
It
swear,
messes,
they can't unhear that.
right. So now they have to either fight themselves mentally to erase what's said so that they can fight forward, or some people just give up.
Or how can you talk positive when this like somebody's talking negative at the same time?
And it's whether or not you believe them.
And
It's that belief.
you don't know what to believe because we were raised to believe our doctors.
Hmm.
My sister's doctor told her that she was too young to have cancer. She just had lumpy breasts. And you and I both know Kiki has some big tatas. So, and she was happy with her big tatas. So
Hmm.
the whole 5 years she would wear shirts that said, "These things tried to kill me."
No
But
goodness.
yeah,
Unalive her, right? They tried to unalive her.
and so so she was told by a woman doctor
Hmm.
that she was fine. She was too young to have cancer. And I think she was under 30 at that time.
And that is sad. That is
Or a
sad
little over
that,
30. Yeah, a little
right.
over.
And that's sad that her physician, being a woman, did not take her seriously.
No. And then when we went to get her diagnosed,
Hmm.
they literally looked at her and said, "I don't know what we could do for you."
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Look, I'm so goofy. I would have been like, "Well, yay."
Right.
I was like, "Let me get out of here."
Hmm.
You're the doctor. But yeah, they were like, "I don't know what we could do for you."
Mm.
I mean, it's too far gone. But look, she lasted almost 6 years.
Yes.
So you can't. It's hard to tell people like you can't listen to them all the time.
No. No, that's what I said. It's the practice of medicine. It's not truth of medicine because what doctors learn is the symptoms, the 9 out of 10 people. Well, if 9 out of 10 people have this particular symptom, then this is what it is. Not taking into effect or not taking into credit DNA, genetics, diet, or not
Healthy
diet,
lifestyle.
but healthy
We're
lifestyle, healthy living. And again, if we are now being taught to really advocate for our own health and our own lives. So and that's where we stand. So let's, if you don't mind, in talking about the anticipatory grief, and like you said with your grandmother.
okay. So I'm sorry, my little killer dog. Hold on. Okay, sorry.
Mhm.
Um, but and he's 10 pounds, so he can't even whoop nobody. So I don't even understand. I'm like, who you killing? But to get back on the topic though, that is the anticipatory grieving
Grief.
ahead of time. Come on now,
Mhm.
it was my only sibling. Uh,
Mhm.
a year, we're 2.5 years apart.
Mhm.
I mean, so I people tell you to prepare yourself. You can't prepare yourself for that. You think
Mhm.
you can though, because it's such a mind. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
people are telling you that you need to get prepared.
Right.
I think we need to own that you can't prepare yourself for that.
No, emotionally you cannot.
Just period. You can't.
Right.
You just can't. But
Mhm.
you start grieving them ahead of time. Just like my grandma. When my
Mhm.
grandmother when she started transitioning,
Mhm.
I had to pret- well with her I pretended like everything was okay the whole time.
Mhm.
And they gave her 90 days. I mean, they
Wow.
just it was period. Like by the time we when we walked in the doctor's office, they was like, "Oh my god." And so that was another grieving them while they were already here because I knew she was leaving. I
Mhm.
knew she was leaving. And then
Right.
when you get to the point like my sister, when she stopped talking,
Mhm.
stopped eating, that's watching a dead person like right there. They're dead already, but they're looking at you.
Right. They're unalived already. Right.
Oh,
So
sorry.
how did you like, as we know, with anticipatory grief, the key features to that is like it begins before the actual transitional loss of that person, right? And
Right.
then, we already said, although they say it involves preparing emotionally for that separation, you're not prepared at all. And then, of course, it comes with sadness, anger, anxiety, and guilt. So did you experience any of those, or not in any particular order, because we know it's not going to happen in any particular order? Did you experience any of that in any kind of order?
You gotta be kidding. It's called survivor's remorse,
Mm,
and that's real talk. Or
okay.
I mean, survivor's guilt, survivor's grief. Is that
Hmm.
another one of the steps? Because that's a theme. Like
You know
survivors,
what? That's going to be another topic.
right?
Survivor's
Yeah,
remorse. Yes, the
because that
survivor's grief, definitely.
I've been because I inherited my grandma's house,
Hmm.
so I'm supposed to be happy about no rent. But no, me and my sister supposed to be here fighting over this house. It's been 14 years and I'm just now starting to decorate it because I felt guilty. I was
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, like I got this, but how can you be happy about it? Because my
Hmm.
granny's not in here with me. My sister's not here with me.
Hmm.
And we not fighting over this house. We had a plan.
Right.
We had
Right.
a plan. And
Right.
so yeah, yeah, that's horrible. And then dealing with our mother.
Mm.
And I used to laugh at my sister though, or try to make her
Hmm.
laugh anyway. And I go, "Oh, is this the way you get away from my mom? Is this the part?" I'm like, "You went big or go home, girl.
She said, "Yeah, right."
You went big or go home."
Oh goodness, what is he upset about? Mm. So, and with that, we're going to talk about ambiguous grief. So, with ambiguous grief, that is the grief that happens when the loss is like it's unclear or even lacks closure, right? So I think ambiguous grief and anticipatory grief kind of go hand in hand together, um, because there's no resolution or like understanding as to what is going on, even though your sister and your grandmother had cancer. However, it's just like it's still like frozen. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, wait, this is happening too fast. Everything is moving quickly. And, tell me your thoughts about that.
And don't add religion.
Ah, yes.
Oh, oh, don't add religion because now you're fighting with what you've been raised and taught. You feel me? Like now you're
Mm,
fighting that. You talking
Right.
about your brain beating you up, your brain fighting with it. Like you got Susie over here, Jessica right here, Trina over here, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
fighting because she's saying Jesus got the final say. This one's like, wait a minute, where he at? And then
Mm-hmm.
them over there is going, but you better cheer up. But then we got old doctor over here going, dang, what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
My treatment don't work no more. And
Right.
then me and my sister tried a experimental treatment,
Mm.
and she looked at me and said, "Ricky, we probably shouldn't have done that."
And what do you, I just what did you do? I'm just being
It was
I'm
it
curious.
it was called hot chemo, and this yeah, his name is Jason. Dr. Jason Foster invented it,
Mm.
and what they do is they open your body up
Mm-hmm.
and they heat the chemo up and they put it on the tumors.
Mm.
But we had nothing. I mean, come on, you're. What if this did work? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like this was
Right.
our end of. But you know how painful that is, and I can't unhear that.
Mm.
Maybe
No.
we shouldn't have done it. You know what I
So
mean? Like, cause I did. I brought it to her. I saw it. I
mm-hmm.
researched it. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did, and we had the discussion, and then it made me sad because I was like, that means she chose it because she trusted me, and
Right.
did I do right,
You're right. Gotcha. So did you all try anything holistic?
honey? Your cousin, she wasn't disciplined enough.
Ah, okay.
She about to leave. Oh, uh, yeah, she wasn't disciplined enough because Doctor Genesis Health System. You know, Uncle David goes to him.
Mm.
Doctor Norden.
Okay.
Well, they sent her a whole protocol, like a box of supplements and things to do, and
Mm-hmm.
she didn't do it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we're gonna move. I'm gonna move down to disenfranchised grief because this one is going to associate with your uncle. Okay. So disenfranchised grief refers to the grief that is not socially acknowledged or supported. And it happens when a person's loss is not seen as legitimate or worthy of mourning by societies or others.
Mm,
Now, this is mixed because your uncle, who was an activist, right?
yeah, he's a Black
Not
Panther.
only, right, Black Panther activist. So, on one spectrum, he was supported and acknowledged in his transition. And then on the other spectrum, he was not.
Yep, the law, the police, and the
Hmm.
FBI and the CIA, they were the judges. Were the ones that was glad he was gone because they thought the conversation would stop.
Mm,
And
okay.
so and so, yeah, that disenfranchised grief is
Hmm.
very difficult. We live in Nebraska. Nebraska is a very well, not so much, but it was very segregated. You know, when you came here and spent time with us, it was
Hmm.
very segregated. The black people were in North Omaha, the white people were in West Omaha, the Hispanics were in South Omaha. That's
Hmm.
just how it is. And
Hmm.
so we had to worry about that. I
Hmm.
mean, because if you was on the white side, you had or in corporate America.
Hmm.
Don't let them know that I'm a Poindexter, okay? Because
Okay.
then I got treated some type of way because it depended on what side you were on
Hmm.
because it was so political.
Right.
And so
Gotcha.
that's very difficult, especially if you're in a some small town. Because I
Hmm.
mean, it's kind of weird because North Omaha, I mean, the different Omahas are like their own individual towns. And
Wow.
so if you're from a small town,
Hmm.
everybody knows everybody, even the police know everybody. And
Hmm.
so you have to be concerned about that.
Right.
We had police threatening us at the courthouse.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was bad. So for those that don't know, my uncle Edward Poindexter was a Black Panther who was
Hmm.
set up by the government because they wanted to eliminate the Black Panther Party in Omaha, Nebraska. So they did. I even had somebody that was in prison with him that said they tried to starve him in prison.
Mm.
So I even had that. And so
Right.
yeah, that's interesting, Mimi. Disenfranchised uh grief.
Grief, disenfranchised grief. Yes, it is.
Wow.
So, and I'm sure, like I said, with with the family, like I said, you have one side that supported. They did support you all as a family, and as far as this grieving, and then you had the other aspect of it where there was no support,
There
where
was
there
no
was no acknowledgement, where there was a lack of public mourning. There was or it was like marginalized and dismissed or even overlooked.
or they let the family get on TV and say they were glad he was gone.
Mm,
But then they also let me get on TV because I told them ahead of time that they were going to do that, and I
hmm.
wasn't going to appreciate that.
Right.
Another thing is, now that you say that, disenfranchised grief. Sometimes I'm watching TV and I feel bad for the family members of the murderers. Like
Mm,
they didn't murder nobody.
right.
You know what I mean? So they get treated like we did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So or where some people feel bad for them, some people don't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's interesting.
So how do you feel, like how do you not feel, but how do you think that you dealt with this grief, or have you even dealt with this grief?
We haven't had time to deal. We haven't had time to deal with the grief because
Mm-hmm.
he died the last December,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, no, we're just still grieving
Right.
because we still want to fight. That I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and so we need to like kind of deal with the grief part because they're making us pay for an autopsy. They're making us pay a lawyer to retrieve an autopsy, which makes me think they did something they didn't have no business.
Mm.
But you got to understand also. My grandmother, we were Poindexters, so you don't even know if the doctors did what they were supposed to do in regard to the cancer treatments.
Right, for your sister or your grandmother.
But
Right.
that's the first time I said that out loud.
Mm.
But it's
Gotcha.
but it's Nebraska,
Right.
and everybody know we've been on TV. He went in
Mm-hmm.
there in '70. He died
Yeah.
when I was 55,
Right. Or
54.
transitioned.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, transitioned when I was 54.
Right. So he was in for in a long time. And as I said, the two kind of go together, the ambiguous and the disenfranchised, for the simple fact that actually the ambiguous, the anticipatory, and the ambiguous, actually all three, and the disenfranchised go together when it comes to your uncle.
It's
It's like
sad.
you're in all three,
Uh huh.
because or you experience all three, because one, when it comes to the anticipatory, because he was in for a life sentence, correct?
He really wasn't because they didn't have that he actually was pardoned, and Nebraska refused to honor it. Um, but yeah, you are absolutely correct because we kind of knew that he would spend the rest of his days there,
Okay.
and he even didn't want visits from us because he said it was too hard to do his time.
Oh
So
my.
so we kind of grieved him ahead of like you said.
They said you grieved him ahead of time because he wasn't there. He wasn't there. And then the ambiguous grief, because it lacked closure. You didn't have any closure with him.
None.
Okay, and then the disenfranchised grief that you're experiencing is the fact that it wasn't socially acknowledged or supported. Like I said, in one aspect it was, but in another aspect it wasn't, and you're having to deal with both the acknowledgement and the support on one side, and not being socially acknowledged or not being socially supported on the other side.
Correct.
Yeah. So imagine maneuvering through
You got
life.
I mean, it's just great. It's insane. It really, really, really is insane.
So then the question is like, how are
Well,
you? That's the
um,
question.
imagine maneuvering that through grade school,
As a child,
junior
right? Yes. Okay.
high school, them making you take law and justice classes, and you knowing that none of that applies to your family. So you're passing the tests with A's, and you know what I'm saying? And then when it comes to your own family, I honestly believe I could have tried the case because of, I'm like, are you kidding me? That is not
Mm-hmm.
like, when the police threw away the evidence,
Mm-hmm.
he should have got a new trial.
Mm-hmm.
When they said somebody called 911 and told the cop to come to the house, and when he walked in the house blew up. That's how he died. I mean, sorry, that's how he unalived. But
Mm-hmm.
we found out that wasn't even the person they said. Like they said Joe Blow called 911. So we did a voice analysis. They promised us if we did that voice analysis that we would get another trial. When they did the voice analysis, they said
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't him, and they said, "Well, we found something, so we just gonna go with it." It was so unprofessional. The
Oh my.
judge, the judge turned beat red. There was a cop that leaned over to my grandma and was like, "He will not ever get out of there over my unalive body." I mean, it was absolutely insane. And then,
Wow.
how am I going? How am I doing? I don't
Mm-hmm.
have I don't have time to do, seriously, because my mother is has 13 diagnoses, and they said that she started doing drugs after her brother was taken out of the house by the SWAT.
Mm. So
Yeah,
she has trauma
yeah,
that she is dealing with that caused her to move toward addiction.
right. And so when they came, guns drawn, they said that's when she started doing drugs. And then, but you know what, that's the part about grief and addiction, because you're
Mm-hmm.
grieving. Okay, I was in so much pain when my grandma and my sister died, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like my heart
Transition. Uh-huh.
literally, I mean, I'm sorry, um I felt like my chest was literally hurting, like I could touch it and it hurt. Like,
Right.
people don't understand, like, there's a physical hurt to that kind of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started doing weird stuff. Like, I was like, I wanted to hurt somewhere else. So I would pinch my arm. I was like, I
Oh
need
goodness.
something else to happen. I needed to hurt somewhere else. And
Right.
then you have to feel sorry for the person that's the addict. Because could you imagine what they're going through? They already can't maneuver themselves. And now they've lost their mom and their youngest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
90 days apart.
Right.
It was
Yes.
crazy.
It.
It was,
Yeah. That
it was
is.
She OD'd in front of my grandmother. I
Oh.
mean, okay, no, not in front of my grandmother. I mean, almost OD'd. Not in front of my grandmother, but we had. I told a story, and
Mm-hmm.
we pretended like she could be rehabbed so she could stay in the nursing home for 29 days, so I could figure out what I was gonna do.
Right.
And
Right.
so then I get her home. We get her in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
We face her toward the window. I turn around and she's in the back of me. So
Right.
I told Cricket to keep grandma turned that way. And so
Right.
Miss Thangy is having a seizure. Mimi, why did I used to watch Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I take a rag and put it around the spoon and put it in her mouth when she couldn't?
Nope.
I busted her lip. Wait, so when she got to the hospital, they said, how did her lip get busted? I said, I put a spoon in her mouth.
No,
That's what I
ma'am.
saw on TV.
No.
No, ma'am. I could have choked her.
Yes, you could have. That's not what you do when someone is having a seizure. That is not what has to be
No,
done.
it's not what
You
you do.
did. That's
Do
not
not
what you do.
put that spoon in her mouth.
Okay.
Look, with a dish rag.
Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it at
Number one, disgusting.
all. Okay. You're right.
Because
That's not
I don't know where I grabbed that dish rag from.
it. That's hilarious. So let's talk about the stigma and silence around grief, right? Especially when it comes to the ambiguous grief, the disenfranchised, and anticipatory, right? So when you talk about the stigma and silence of it, how it shows up, right? People are often told to move on or get over it. Did you experience anybody saying anything like that to you?
Oh my gosh. Yes, Lord. I mean, and that's funny you say that because that's the biggest thing. People think there's a time limit on it.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's a time limit on it. They think there's a way you're supposed to act. You know, you can't tell that. You can't do that to people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You can't do that to people. Like, and if they're already an addict, you literally have to understand both sides of the coin, which can be very difficult if you're not in that life.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't understand. Like, I'm always asking questions. I'm like, okay, well,
Right.
because it makes no sense. But then, like, once we went through this, it makes a whole lot of sense. Why wouldn't you want to, like me pinching myself? Why would you not want to
Mm-hmm.
dumb down that pain?
Right. Right. Definitely. And
But I
I
don't get to because I gotta take care of everybody. I'm like, yeah, I don't get to. I
right.
don't. I
And
don't.
that's difficult for you. Like the fact that you do not have an outlet or get the opportunity to properly grieve.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I just don't. But then again, is that not a blessing? It might be a blessing that I don't. I don't. That because sometimes you need that distraction. You don't want
Right.
to have to be taking care of people because my mother. I now take care of my mom
Mm-hmm.
because the nursing home tried to kill her,
You mean
but
unalive her?
I mean, unalive her. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, the nursing home. So I had to bring
Right.
her home.
Gotcha. And so that, and this is what a lot of us experience, and that's what you experience is what's called compounded grief, and that's grief on top of grief on top of grief that you have not been able to unpack and heal from, right? So with that, with that, do you find yourself at any time isolating, feeling lonely, um, like,
Not wanting to be bothered.
mm-hmm,
Seriously,
mm-hmm,
because sometimes you don't know. It feels like you try to act a certain type of way.
okay,
Okay, when it first happens, though, it feels like people looking at you
mm-hmm,
because they want to know if you are about to lose it. So they are looking at you and
right,
asking you crazy questions or saying, "I understand how you feel." No, you don't. No, you
right,
don't. You couldn't possibly know how I feel. And
mm-hmm,
you and I had some really, really, really deep talks in regard to the addiction thing and dealing with your parent that's an addict, and
mm-hmm,
sometimes you just don't care. People
right,
people people will be like, "Be glad that you have your mother." Look, I had to look. I'm gonna say, "Be glad you got your mother," and I'll be like, "Glad for who?"
right,
Landed to be with y'all. I left right here. I'm like, if she want to party, let her party.
right, right,
And then it makes you feel bad. If you're a good person, that makes you feel bad too. So
mm-hmm,
not only am I sad because I lost my best friend, me and my sister used to move next door to each other. We would,
mm-hmm,
and sometimes I still walk around and go, maybe I had a unhealthy relationship with her.
mm,
Because now I'm trying to figure out, okay, this part is making me emotional. Now I'm
right,
trying to figure out codependency.
mm, okay,
Was I codependent on my grandma and my sister? Because
okay,
I didn't make my own decisions. I used to call and be like, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Like, if you always got a board,
mm-hmm,
look, my board members went to heaven and left me here to figure it out all by myself. So my corporation is going to hell.
okay,
Going to hell. But I'm not the funny part though is when my grandmother was uh transition, and I said, she said, "Don't give up on on Renee." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, mom." I said, "I guess I'll make sure that she don't unalive herself."
Right, right,
And then I laid in the bed with my sister, and I said, "I guess I'll look out for your mama.
right. So,
Yes, I will." I
right.
mean, it's
Uh,
it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad, especially when you only had one sibling. I only had
right,
one sibling.
right. So, and I can definitely say that, like, you feel the pressure to kind of hide your pain in order to not make other people feel uncomfortable.
Ain't that crazy? Yeah. Like you don't want to make them sad. My niece does that to me, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes me sad. Like when she's sad, because she's sad right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so when she's sad, she'll go, "I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to make you sad." And I'm like, "Don't do that."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I know how to act unsad. I'm sad.
Right.
I'm sad all the time. And you
Mm-hmm.
know what's real? Okay, this is. I have such a dark humor.
Okay.
I didn't even mention my dad. The look the non-participator. I just happened to think about. I happened to think about him. But
Okay.
no, quit laughing, BB. But seriously, like for real,
No, because I understand. I
I
feel
need
the
you
same.
to look.
You and I have these conversations. We
I need
both
him to
know.
show.
We
I
both know
need him
what it
to
is.
show. I remember when my grandma and Kiki first transitioned. I was walking around here. I was a total psycho, and I honestly want to write it down because I
Mm,
was a psycho. I was mad at everybody. I was like,
yes.
I stopped going to the store because we
Mm-hmm.
was always Ricky and Kiki. So when I walked in the store and they would go, "Hey, Ricky, where's Kiki?" and I'll go unalive.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at me all crazy. I was like, that's so unfair. You know, now that I'm 14 years into it, I'm like, oh, that was so unfair. And then I would have people breaking down, crying in front of me, and I look at them like, you look, I ain't even sad for them. I'm like, if you're sad, what do you think about me?
Right.
And then what else? What did I else did I do crazy? Oh, I was stomping around this house
Mm-hmm.
saying, God, Jesus, I need you to sit down. Here's your seat. I need you to sit down. We need to talk about it. I said, because I've been a good person. I said, I've been a good person. I look out
Mm-hmm.
for people. I've never robbed, cheated, or stole. And
Mm-hmm.
look what you have dealt me.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to talk.
Right. Yes.
And every time somebody said, "Be God woke you up this morning," I said, "For what? To pay bills and be by myself and to
Mm-hmm.
take care of my crazy ass mother that never liked
Mm-hmm.
me in the first place." And, you know what? I
Right.
mean, but you know what? I gotta thank God though, because I got a lot of stuff from
Mm-hmm.
the people that transitioned.
Right.
But I love the fact that I'm able to tell people that that is not the thing.
Right. And
Like
that
it's
anger is very real. And I don't know unless
anger.
you experience it, people really have no idea the type of anger that you carry. When someone very, very close to you, that's near and dear to your heart, transition, they have no idea. And when it comes to that type of loss, so just like like with your sister and your grandmother being close in their you 90 days apart in their transitions, my oldest son and my nana, they
Right,
went for months with
right.
it away from each other.
Ain't
So
that
you talk about that anger from that type of loss. And I remember the day, not like the day after when I left to go to North Carolina, or 2 days after, because it happened that Friday. I think I left that Friday night or that next Saturday morning to drive to North Carolina, and I'm with the girlfriend. Um, and I had another friend girl call me, who I'm no longer friends with now. And she kept pushing about prayer and being a part of this prayer group. And I was like, right now, I don't want to have anything, nothing to do with God, nothing right now. I was
until
like,
he explains.
I got to work through this because I need to know why you took my child from me. I need to know why you took my oldest child from me when he had a whole life ahead of him. Like, why would you do that? That's not fair. So you talk about that anger. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't
So,
imagine losing a child though. But I actually it's kind of weird, and I hate to say this because this is where I get pissed off.
mm-hmm,
Because my grandmother was my mother.
mm-hmm,
So when people say, "Well, you don't know how it feels to lose a mother," I be wanting to throat punch them.
right,
Are you serious? Not only
mm-hmm,
was she my mother, she was our savior.
right,
My mother used to threaten to unalive my grandmother if she came to get us from her.
mm,
Even though
mm-hmm,
she wasn't feeding us, she was partying, she was doing all the beating us, all kinds of stuff. Well, okay, let me quit saying us, me.
mm-hmm.
So,
So that trauma,
yeah,
trauma there. So I'm gonna move a little forward, continue to move forward. So let's talk about like the stigma and silence around grieving and addiction. So when it comes to, and you may not even have an idea at all, like when it comes to your mom, when it comes to Renee, right? Being that she was, because she was an addict or an addicted, and she had those behaviors, right? That she did. Now she's no longer. So
right.
being that she's no longer, and because she's under your care, do you think in her mind, the loss of her mother and the loss of her child, her daughter, do you think that she might be having a difficult time trying to like process everything, and like her healing are and he let me put it this way. Could it be that the two of you are each other's saving grace through this?
Now I
Yes.
can see that,
Okay.
but before
Mm-hmm.
I could not because now I kind of like her a little bit. I do. She's all right. Even
Sure
though,
right
yeah,
now.
but even though today she got told off because she was moving too slow. But
Mm,
but yeah, I mean I kind of like her a little bit. But yeah, honestly, I could see that we were put together so that we wouldn't be alone.
mm,
But it was weird, like how it happened. Like it didn't.
mm.
Nothing with my mother would be conventional. Like if she gonna do it big or not at all. She ain't gonna break her toe. She gonna break all five of them on this foot, all five of them on that foot, and five of yours. So she gonna do it big or not at all.
Not at all.
For real, for real.
Mm,
I can see that, but the anger lingers.
mm,
It does. It lingers, and it's sad because my niece sometimes gets mad at me because she's like, she didn't even do nothing, and I'll be like, you don't know what she did in my head.
mm.
you know, you gotta
Right.
keep that 100. Like she really didn't,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes I don't want to hear her voice.
Right. And
That's
I
still a
think,
thing.
right, and I really don't think people understand that the anger that's associated with grief, with trauma, with addiction, it is very real.
It's
It's
very real.
very, very real. And it shows up in everyday life. And unfortunately, it is taken out on the people around you. It is. Um, and I can tell you, as much as I try to operate in the treat people how you want to be treated, be kind to people as kind as I believe that I am. There was a time in where and not even, I can't say there was a time. Yes, there was a time where I was extremely angry, and then certain times of the year I can feel the anger arising, and I can tell you, and I know when that is.
Change of
You know,
season.
the change, right? So, or it's depending on the holiday. So here we are, right? Deej's birthday is getting ready to come up in November. Actually, September. I'm gonna be angry in September because that's when my grandmother transitioned. I already know it.
I'm gonna be angry in September.
I'm, that's a fact. Okay, I'm gonna be highly agitated and angry in September. I'm going to be highly agitated and angry in November. Why? Both my grandmother's birthday and Deeja's birthday is in November. Even though Thanksgiving, I'm be fine on Thanksgiving Day because I'll, be able to do what I want to do and enjoy, which is cook dinner for for my family. But I will be angry. Okay, I can bet you that. Um, I don't do Christmas, so I'm not worried. That's null and void. I'll be angry in January because it's my mom's birthday. birthday.
I feel that. I feel that.
Okay. I'm not worried about February. March, I'll be angry again because she transitioned in March.
See, me, my grandmother, and my sister talked on the phone every day. And
Mm-hmm.
me and my sister was together every day. Like
Mm-hmm.
she would call me in the morning and say, "What you gonna do today?"
Mm-hmm.
And I go over there, she go over me. Or if I'm asleep, she would come and knock on my bedroom window for me to come open the door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we was just like that. And my grandmother, because we took care of her,
Mm-hmm.
we talked to her every day. So could you? I mean, I heard both of them leaving like they did.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about angry? I'm angry every day that I wake up because I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what made me mad with the hospice people, and it makes me laugh every time I think about it. Find your new normal. You got to find your new normal. I'm like, I'm gonna find your new normal. You quit saying that to me. What did you say? You got to find your new normal.
And the sad, let me tell you,
I'm like, close your textbook, lady.
yeah,
The hell?
right,
No, look, see, that's a real mad. Find your new normal. You can't even say that to me without me being mad for minutes.
right, because
Disturbing. That's disturbing.
that's it is real, but it's very real, and it's frustrating. And I wish there was
New word.
another way, like to say that it's not about finding your new normal. It's about learning your new self because when you experience loss like we have, a part of us literally left with that person. A part of us left with that individual. So now we have to figure out life without that individual, and there's nothing normal about it.
Nothing normal about it. I sleep in the room that me and my sisters shared.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is so deep that I want to leave the whole house.
Mm.
And the only reason why I won't is because yo Aunt Linda will win.
That's hush, girl.
That's the only reason why I
Hush.
won't. That's the only reason why I won't leave the house.
Ah, family
I'm so
dispute.
serious. I swear.
Family dispute, right? That's all we're gonna say.
That's the only reason why I won't leave the house. Because I mean, because it's painful.
Right.
There's a memory on every time you turn a corner,
Mm.
and that sucks. And
Right.
I keep telling myself, do not go obtain rent or a mortgage because you can't get your feelings together.
Mm.
For real. Because then I can't treat myself like a Kardashian. I, no mortgage, whole bunch of extra money, but
Right.
it don't make you happy. That's what I tell people all the time.
Mm.
The military paid me for my dad. Remember?
Right.
I
Right.
got a quarter of $250,000 from my dad
Mm-hmm.
from the military for Agent Orange.
Right.
So it don't even matter. I just gave it all away. I did.
Mm.
Because me and my grandmother sat on the couch one time and I said, "Grandma, I'm gonna win the lottery." And she said, "What you gonna do with the money?" I said, "I'm gonna take half of it and help people, and the other half I'll take care of myself." So when I got a whole bunch of money, I felt like I needed to honor the creator.
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I said. And so I took half of it. I let somebody borrow a lot of money. I paid plates for people. I paid uh college for people.
Mm.
And that's what I'm talking about, that religion thing. Like that's another cluster that we have to fight when the person that taught us all that transitions.
So, right. But you can only, you got to take care of self first. And that's like, that's my next like question for you. What do you think healing looks like for you?
See, I ain't the one because I don't know.
You don't know.
Look, I'm still waiting to go over the Rainbow Bridge. Oh, look, there ain't a Rainbow Bridge for people. I don't know.
You don't know?
What does healing look like for me?
Yes. What would that look like for you?
I
And
don't.
the fact that you don't know, the fact that you don't know means you have to do some exploration now to find out what healing looks like to you.
You know what
Let
my favorite movie that gets me through, and it's such a you know how goofy your cousin is, but Sleepless in Seattle. Do you
Okay.
remember when that they said, "How do you get through that?" And he
Yes.
said, "I get up." I don't remember the exact words, but he said, "You know what? I just concentrate on getting up and breathing in and out."
Mm-hmm.
And then every day I just make sure I get up and I breathe in and out. And then eventually I'm breathing in and out on my own because I didn't practice how to breathe in and out. You know what I'm saying? That's I haven't started that part.
Mm.
And I might have not started that part because I'm pissed off.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It really is. And this is why this conversation, and this is one of the reasons why I started this podcast, this grief podcast, was because the anger, the guilt, the isolation, the not knowing or have not even have an idea how to move through your grief to healing is important, and people really need to hear and understand and know this is very real. This is it's a this conversation is a raw conversation, is unfiltered. It is true emotions in this conversation today, and every time, every single episode, it is real, it is raw, and people have to know, they must know that they're not alone. There's people out here experiencing this. So when you, Ricky, saying you have no idea what your healing looks like, I get that, because I have no idea what my healing looks like. The only thing I know is that I had to do this right here. I had to do Sometimes with Bougie, Sometimes we Hood, the grief podcast, to work toward my healing and to help others heal. That's all I know.
And have you ever honestly though, because I have had to heal from so much stuff, and I haven't healed from any of it. Just to go ahead and put that out there, I haven't healed from any of, but I've done the work over and over and over again from different stuff. Like I had to heal from the fact that my mama and daddy don't like me. That was crazy. I'm like, what the hell? But anyway, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with the fact that neither one of these fuckers liked me, and that I had to be okay with that. And you know what I did? I went and grabbed a book. And see, that's what I would tell any young person. Like whatever you want to feel, go find a book that feels that for you. You know, like I read a whole lot of Ayala Van Zandt. Like In the Meantime was my saving grace. And then The Value in the Valley. That was amazing too. Because In the Meantime it was what do you do in the meantime? Have you ever read that?
No, I have not.
Oh
I have
my
not.
God, you'll like it. Read that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because it talks about trauma and all that, and it tells
Mm-hmm.
you, you know, what you do in the meantime. And one of the things that she said that was so freaking profound is we as women, we as Black people, we were taught that if we be still, that's lazy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not lazy. That's healing. To be still, like you talked about breath work, uh,
Mm-hmm.
to really just clock out for a second. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so that, and she talks about what to do in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Gotcha.
and she said, and if you don't know what to do, just don't. And look, I kind of take that a little too far. Tell me not to do
So she ain't got to tell you twice. Don't
nothing.
do
Right.
nothing.
You had a good time. You
Nothing.
telling me not to do nothing? All
No.
right. Look,
Right.
done. Don't play with me. But no, it tells you if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. But I
Right.
will say the best time that I had in my life, because I've never had any parental guidance.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother was amazing, but uh she loved me and she was
Mm-hmm.
financial, but she didn't give any advice because number one, she was old. And
Mm-hmm.
so whatever advice, her advice was go find you a husband, let him go to work, and you sit there and do what he say. And you know we ain't about that life. So yeah, now so you know, I mean, but shoot, she got a house out of it. Look, wait, what should I say? We got a house out of it.
Right.
But
Oh, goodness
so
gracious.
not to dog her, but that's just
Mm-hmm.
how she grew up. She was like, you go, you find your husband, you sit down somewhere.
Right.
Okay. So I didn't have none of that. I didn't have I now I'm a mad hugger because nobody was
Mm-hmm.
hugging on me.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I mean things of that nature. But when I had my best life, though, I literally scheduled my breathing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I scheduled everything. I was like, from 7 o'clock, I wake up. From 7 to 7:30, I brush my teeth. From 7:30 to this, I did this. 7 to
Yes.
I did that for the whole day. And that reminds me of that Sleepless in Seattle thing.
Right.
Because once you decide what type of life you want, write it down, schedule it out. They
Mm-hmm.
say fake it till you feel it. If one of my aunts told me, she's not my real my aunt, one of my mom's
Mm-hmm.
friends, but she told me if you want to feel like $1 million, then be that. Don't nobody know it.
Exactly.
They ain't looking at your bank
Exactly.
account.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So at
Exactly.
this point in grief,
Mhm.
though, you got to figure out, maybe we can't figure out how not to be sad, but we can figure out how to move.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and with that, any final thoughts before we close?
My final thought is you're not gonna figure it out. You're not gonna figure it out. And be okay with yourself. Be sad. My niece, I hate to say this, but she's suffering from alcoholism, so that's why she lives with me. And she put herself in a program. She's doing amazing. But I mean, when she starts going through withdrawals, she's crying, she's screaming, she's talking about how she misses her mother. She lost her mother right out of high school. She graduated in June. Her mother died. I mean, I'm sorry,
On
her
a
mother
transition.
transitioned in September,
Mm-hmm.
and her brother graduated 2 years prior to. Then you know what I tell her? Honor your body. You want to
Mm-hmm.
cry, cry. If you want to scream, scream. Yesterday I had her walking around here screaming. Do
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do to make yourself feel better. And if you don't, find somebody that can help you talk it through.
Exactly.
But don't do it alone.
Right. Right. Need that support person with you. Support person. All right, everyone. So keep in mind as we close, I'm going to leave you with some final thoughts. Healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means learning to live with the love and the pain side by side. Also, I always say grief is love with nowhere to go. But maybe today we can, give it somewhere, like coming right here. This is where it can be and where it can go and express itself through our, through myself, Auntie Mimosa, co host that come on. So, with that in mind, if you're struggling, like, please reach out. There are resources available to you because you're not alone. Of course, we know the national helpline is 1-800-662 HELP, HELP. Of course, there are the Compassionate Friends, which is a grief support group. You got Al Anon or Naranon. And then, of course, whatever city, state you're in, you have local grief and addiction recovery groups along with churches, right? So, thank you for joining us today through this journey. of grief, healing, and remembrance. Grief is not something we simply get over or get under or go by. It's something we learn to carry, something that shapes us, and something that teaches us about love and resilience. As you move through your own process, remember to be patient with yourself. There's no timeline, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Honor your feelings, embrace the memories, and allow yourself space to heal in your own time. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to reach out, share your story, or let us know how grief has shaped your journey. And if you know someone who might need this conversation, please share this episode with them. You can reach out to us, Auntie Mimosa or Cousin Kareem, on Instagram at Queen of Life Empowerment or SBSH Grief Podcast. You can also reach out to us on Facebook at Sometimes We're Boujee, Sometimes We're Hood, and on TikTok at Sometimes We're Boujee and Hood. Until next time, be kind to yourself, hold space for your emotions, and remember, you are never, ever alone in this journey. Take gentle care of yourself. You are carrying the most beautiful love there is. You don't have to walk this road alone in silence. Your love and your light still matters. Take care, everyone. It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembrance.